Alright, so in number 1 here, which is the same as number 1 on your sheet, I just want you to follow along with me, kind of try to watch what I do. This is the same lesson as yesterday, just different problems. So some of you might really have this, and others might just need more practice, and no problem either way. Okay, but just watch me in number 1, and then 2, 3, and 4 I'll have you try on your own, and then follow along with me to see how you did. So number 1, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look up at my anchor chart and do step 1, which says to draw the line to split the sides. The reason why we want to do this is because, and we want to split it right here, we want to do that because it shows us what is on each side of the equation. So we know that c plus 3 has to equal, that line's the same thing as our equal sign, 8. Okay, so it just makes a nice visual. As we get more used to doing this, if you want to stop drawing that line, you can. I, took algebra 1, 2, 3 in high school, and I still draw the line. But some people don't need it all the time. But to start, let's draw the line. So step 1 is done. You drew your line. Okay, splitting the two sides. Step 2, up on our anchor chart, focus on the side with the variable. This side has our variable. Do the opposite to get the variable alone. So this is our variable. So we don't want to do anything with that, but we want to do the opposite to this, which is plus 3. Okay. So the opposite of plus 3, remember, the opposite always is that same number, just the opposite. So if it's plus, it's minus. So minus 3. So minus 3. And this is do the opposite to both sides. We have to do it to both sides. So minus 3. Okay. So now 3 plus a negative 3, well, my signs are different, so I subtract. 3 minus 3 is 0, which is what we want, so that X's itself off, and I'm left with just this C. So I bring that C down right there, C, okay, and that has to equal 8, and remember one thing, yep, I have my minus 3 here, so 8 minus 3, which is 5. So now C equals 5. I know I'm done because I have C all by itself. I don't have two C's or C minus 2. I have C equals 5. So then the last part is just to evaluate this now with your answer. Okay, so C equals 5. So I'm going to rewrite this. C plus 3 equals 8 right here, but instead of C, I'm going to put what I know, which is 5. So I'm going to go ahead and do 5 instead of C. I just inputted C for right there. 5 plus 3 equals 8. And then you go again. I want you to do this part. 5 plus 3, which is 8. 8 equals 8. Our equation is balanced. So we are all good to go. Okay, so that's number 1. Make sure you have that written down. And then we're going to move on to number 2. Alright, so hopefully that went okay for you. You were able to get number 1 copied down. Now I want you to go ahead and try number 2. Go through our steps in our anchor chart, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and go ahead and try this problem. And once you're done, I want you to resume, hit play, and you can watch me do it and see how you did. Okay, so hopefully that one went okay for you. Okay, so I'm working on this problem here. 14 plus x equals 24. So my first step according to my anchor chart is to draw my line splitting the sides. Alright, I always know where to split it because that's where my equal sign is. So down, okay. And then step 2 says to focus on the side with the variable. This side has my variable, 14 plus x equals 24. Okay, it says do the opposite to get the variable alone. Well, here's my variable, so I don't want to touch that. But it says do the opposite to get it alone. Well, I have 14 here. There's no negative sign, so it's a positive 14. So I want to do the opposite. Well, the opposite of positive 14 is negative 14. So I go ahead and I subtract 14, subtract 14. Okay. And when I do that, 14 minus 14 gives me nothing left. Okay, so that cancels out. And I'm left with x. That's gone too. And then that equals 24 minus 14. Well, 24 minus 14 is 10. Okay. So then step 3 is to make sure to do the same thing to both sides. So that's just a checkpoint. I have minus 14 in here and I did minus 14 there. I did do the same to both sides. Okay. So I did step 3. And then step 4 says to check. So checking is what you did last week. That's when we go ahead now and evaluate this. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my 10 for x, and then just go ahead and evaluate it. So I'm going to rewrite that. 14 plus 10 equals 24. 14 plus 10 equals 24. Okay, and then that should be true. 14 plus 10 is 24. 24 equals 24. Okay, hopefully that one went okay for you, and we'll move on to number 3. Okay, so number 3, I want you to go ahead and try this. Before you do, though, just take note, this is the same type of problem, but now our variable, remember step 2 is to focus on the side of the variable. Our variable just happens to be over here, so you're going to be focusing over here first. But otherwise, it's the same, so go ahead and give this a try. Okay, so hopefully that went okay for you. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I would do it now. Okay, I want to change my color down here. Alright. So the first step, again, is to draw lines to split sides. So split it. My equal sign happens to come a little earlier this time. And then I did step 1. Step 2, focus on the side with the variable. Do the opposite to get variable alone. Okay, so focus on the side with the variable. Now this side has my variable, so I'm going to be working over here first. Do the opposite to get variable alone. Well, here's my variable, so I need to do the opposite here. I have a plus 2. So the opposite of a plus 2 is, of course, a minus 2. Okay, so minus 2. And remember, what you do to one side, you have to do the other. So minus 2 over here. Okay. So from there, 2 plus a negative 2, well, they cancel each other out. That's why you did it. So that is now gone. And I'm left with x on that side. And now I just need to do 21 minus 2, which is 19. So x equals 19. Okay. So I did step 2. Step 3, make sure to do the same thing to both sides. Okay, so this is that checkpoint step. I did minus 2, I did minus 2, so I know that I must be okay. 19 equals x. Now we're going to go ahead and check it over here. Check. Okay, so again, this is where you just plug in what you know now for x. X equals 19. Okay, so I'm going to put 19 there and rewrite everything else as it is. So 21 equals 19 now for x, 19 plus 2. Now I hope that's true. 21 equals 19 plus 2, 19, 20, 21, 21. It checks out. Okay, so hopefully that one went okay with you. We'll do one more. So you can go ahead and we're going to do one more here. Okay, so we're on our last problem here. So I want you to go ahead and do number 4. It's the same number 4 on your sheet. N minus 3 equals 20. Okay, go ahead and try it, and then once you're done, start the video and see how you did. Okay? Okay, so here I go. I'm going to do one more. You can compare your answer with mine. Okay, I have N minus 3 equals 20. I'm going to go ahead and look up at my anchor chart and do step 1. It says draw a line to split the sides. So I'm going to go ahead and split the side. Oop, I better get my pen out. Split the side. Okay, so now I have this side has to equal this side, I know, this side and this side. Okay. Step 2, focus on the side with the variable. Do the opposite to get the variable alone. Well, now this time, this side has my variable. Okay. So n minus 3 I'm focusing on. So I want to get this guy alone, the variable alone. So I want to do the opposite of minus 3. Well, the opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. It's always just going to be the opposite operation. So plus 3, and remember you have to do the same thing to both sides. So plus 3 there, I have to go to the other side, plus 3. Okay, so n minus 3 equals 20, and I plus 3 to both sides. So now remember, my goal is to get that variable alone. Okay, minus 3 plus 3, well, my signs are different, so I would subtract. 3 minus 3 is 0. So I am just left with, those cancel out, and I'm left with just n. And then over here, 20 plus 3 is 23. So n equals 23. Okay. So then step 3 is to make sure to do the same thing to both sides. Did I do the same thing to both sides? I went plus 3, plus 3. I absolutely did. So I am good there. So step 4, it says check by evaluating. Okay, so I got to now check my problem. Check. Boom. Okay. So now I'm just going to go ahead and fill in what I know. So n was my unknown. I now know n equals 23. So instead of n there, I'm going to put 23. And nothing else was unknown. We got everything else told to us, so I just put minus 3 equals 20 right here. Minus 3 equals 20. And now I hope that's true. 23 minus 3, 23, 22, 21, 20. 20 equals 20. So that checks out perfectly well. And hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Check your answer, see how you did, and we will be on to work time.